Hoş geldiniz arkadaşlar. Yarın gerçekleşecek olan Trump'ın konuşmasını simüle tercüme etmeyi düşünüyorum. Onun testini yapacağız. Öncelikle toplantı Miami'de oluyor. Saat Miami'de kaç? 13.56. İstanbul'da 20.56. 20'den 13 çıkartırsak 7 saat ilerideyiz Miami'den. Trump saat kaçta konuşacak? Onu bulmamız lazım. Yani Miami'den 7 saat ilerideyiz. Not alalım. Yedi saat ilerideyiz. Trump saati kaçta konuşacak? Buna bakmamız lazım. Miami Bitcoin konferans schedule diyelim. Agenda burada. Perşembe değil, Cuma değil, Cumartesi değil mi Trump konuşması? Friday. Şöyle Trump diye aratalım. Saat 2'de. Saat 2'de ise Trump'ın konuşması. Biz 7 saat ilerideysek Türkiye saatiyle saat 9'da olacak demektir bu. Bu 2 PM herhalde Miami saatinden ne söylüyor? Miami'deki saati söylüyor, yani geçerli saati. 7 saat ilerideysek eklediğimiz zaman saat 9'da Donald Trump'ın konuşması var. Ben de canlı yayında simüle tercüme etmeye çalışacağım. Şöyle deneyelim. Şöyle ben şimdi bir kulaklık takayım. Laptop'un speaker'ı, yani ses vericisini kulaklığa aktaracağım. Oradan tercüme etmeye çalışacağım ve sesinde şunu kısalım mümkün olduğu kadar. Zannedersem iki tarafa da veriyor. Yani yayına da veriyor sesi. Kulaklığı da veriyor. Yayına vermemenin bir yolu var mı? Bakalım onu. Bulamadım. Şunu kapatabiliyor muyuz? Kapatırsam benim sesim de gidecek ama. Neyse şimdi kulaklık takayım. Sonra ses devam ediyor mu ona bakarım. Kulaklık taktıktan sonra ses devam ediyor, evet. Ama şey mi? Mikrofonu kullanıyor. Dışarı vermeyecek. Kulaklığa verirsem bakalım ses gelecek mi? Onu deneyeceğim. Yayını sonra kaydedip bir şeyine bakacağım.
You're doing manifestation wrong, and I can prove it. I see so many people getting this wrong. They try to manifest abundance, change their lives.
What if I told you there's a way to generate endless power from a device the size of a shoebox? Forget
Bill Hagerty, Senator, Republican Senator from Tennessee, MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor, Kathy Wood, CEO of ARK Invest, Cynthia Lummis, Republican Senator from Wyoming, Russell Brand, RFK. So much more to go. You just heard a special announcement from Ledger. The stacks now available for order. I want to talk about this conference because what's going on here is absolutely wild. If you can't see it at home, there is lines around the block. People are pouring in. We're talking about the costumes. We're talking about the decor. We saw Russell Brand just moments ago mingling in the audience, a movie star and his entourage here at a Bitcoin conference. Nolan, a veteran of Bitcoin conferences like yourself, how much does this contrast with what we've seen in years past?
Well, it contrasts in the sense that the famousness, the prestige of the people coming is totally different, but it's still the same thing in the sense that you can't get this kind of information and education anywhere else. The Bitcoin meetup culture has really changed how we see financial literacy, how we are educated, really. Universities have not been able to keep up with the pace of this industry. What we're really doing here is shrinking the entire college experience into like 4 days. You get everything about the
you can graduate from Bitcoin University here in Nashville. But Nolan, I'm talking about 2014, 15. These conferences were the size of the desk, maybe small rooms. What was it like back then when it was small?
Well, you're dealing with the first, let's call it human capital, the professionals that had entered the business. And those guys were all computer scientists and cryptographers. They're the first group of professionals that left their industry to join our industry. So it was just them. Wall Street was next and brought in a whole different unsentimental point of view, right? They weren't there because of the tech. They wanted to make money. So this brought a whole new energy to the situation. And now we've got the creative people. Now we've got the artists. So we're seeing them leave their profession and join our industry. So we're just picking off industries here, and they're bringing their best and brightest into ours.
Q, your take on the crowd in the state from what you've seen?
It's absolutely bananas, and we're about to see a lot more stuff going back, you know, to 2021 to here. It is truly remarkable to see how much this conference and the attendees have grown.
And of course, the Ledger Flex wallet now available to order. We're sending it to the Nakamoto stage for a special conversation moderated by Aaron Arnold of Altcoin Daily. We'll be right back after these messages.
How does the next 5 to 6 months look for 2024, and then through 2025? Help us retail participants understand. And Dan, you've been trading macro for years. Please start.
Yeah, I think people still misunderstand the economy. Economists keep talking about a recession. If you come down from the ivory tower into a airport, it's packed. The U.S. is ripping, and I think rate cuts, aren't even on the table, meaningful ones. I think rates will be 5% for quite a long time. And if you think about it, the Fed got interest rates so far below inflation, it created this enormous backlog of inflation. They let rates get to minus 800 basis points real rates, which has never happened. Super crazy. And so now they're just normal at 2% real. That's not tight. Like, it isn't tight. There's a ton of inflation. Unemployment's as low as it's ever been. You know, it's going to take a long time to work that out of the system. And the last point would be the Fed created such a massive bubble in everything, including real estate. All houses in America went up 40% in the 2 years they were manipulating the mortgage rate. We're still having record highs in home prices. Like, how can you cut when you're having record home price prints every month?
So I guess the only thing I want to add to this, and it's really almost like a Dan question, is up against all of that, we have spiraling interest rate costs at the federal level. And so when you're looking at that bullet, and I know Dan's done a lot of work on this, I guess I'm worried about that, and I think the Fed is going to cut rates because they're worried about that as well. And it may trigger more growth, stock market boom. It'll certainly help Bitcoin. But how does the Fed get out of the situation that the fiscal people in our government put them in, where you're staring down the barrel of a $36, $37 trillion deficit?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's a huge problem. I don't see how Congress gets out of it. But the Fed's job is supposed to be stable prices, which when I was a kid meant zero inflation. They bumped it up to 2% now. But it's still way above that. It's 50% higher than their goal. So I don't think they can do anything about the fiscal problem. They have to keep rates high to do their congressionally mandated objective of keeping stable prices. And so, yeah, it's a fiscal problem.
You think we end up in a debt crisis?
I think we are in a debt crisis, and it will never, ever be repaid. Ever. It doesn't have to be repaid. There's no way to get out of this. All asset values go up, I think, next couple of years.
Let's talk Bitcoin. That's why everybody's here, right? We all own a little bit of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an asymmetric opportunity, is the name of this talk right now. So let's talk about that now. Asymmetric is the potential upside is significantly greater than the potential downside. Now, Bitcoin was definitely asymmetric when you got in, Dan Moorhead. I think Bitcoin is probably asymmetric when Anthony Scaramucci, Gary Cardone got in. But is Bitcoin still an asymmetric bet today, and why? Help educate us. Gary, I'll throw it to you first.
It feels to me like it's asymmetrical. I think everyone's underestimated. These guys have been here a lot longer than I have. I have not met one person that got close to the estimates of the quality or the volume that is rolling into these ETFs. The quality is staggering, and the volume is spectacular, I think. When every expert in Bitcoin can miss that volume by 3, 4x. I don't think anyone really understands how asymmetrical this could possibly be.
Everybody missed it.
Everyone.
What do you think, Anthony?
So, you know, I'll put it very simplistically. It's an asset class, so therefore it shouldn't trade to the market capitalization of NVIDIA or Apple. It's got to trade to the market capitalization of gold. And I would argue that it's better than gold, so it'll probably trade to market capitalization above gold. And then I'll just say two quick things. The Jersey City, the mayor just said 2% exposure for the pension fund into Bitcoin. The state of Wisconsin is saying they've got 150 million that they announced last month or 2 months ago in Bitcoin. And we'll be on this stage next year. Someone will be on the stage explaining that the tactical asset allocation models for all institutional investors will have a 1, 2, possibly 3% exposure to Bitcoin. And so when you think about the magnitude of that, I don't see how you don't trade to the market capitalization of gold.
Yeah, I totally agree with Anthony. That's the right way to look at it. We were at Goldman when they did the GSCI, and now everybody thinks of commodities as an asset class. Doing emerging markets in the 90s, and now everybody thinks of emerging markets as an asset class. In probably 5 years tops, every institutional investor on earth will have a blockchain team. They're going to have an allocation. It's going to be like 800 basis points or something like that. And the reason